Hello guys, and welcome back to Sherlock Holmes Part 2, Crimes and Punishment. With me, it's Dan, and I'm back. I hope you enjoyed Part 1, I'm here with Part 2. Alright, who's next?
We need to find a good place for an ambush.
Need to find a good
Perhaps
place for an
behind
ambush.
Carey's cabin, near the window.
Near the window. Try behind there.
This looks like the perfect hiding place.
Oh, the fate of Black Peter. Ooh, spooky.
Shh! Did you hear that?
Oh, be quiet then, you silly man. Who's that? God, he looks young.
There's someone there. I'm gonna collar him.
I'll be right behind you.
Police! Hold it right there!
Right.
All right, my fine fellow. Who are you and what are you doing here?
You're detectives, I suppose. You imagine that I'm connected with the death of Captain Carey. I assure you I'm innocent.
Innocent? And what are you doing in his cabin?
Shall I tell you? You came to retrieve what you had lost after killing Peter Carey, but we were here waiting for you.
What is your name?
John Hopley Nelligan, but I didn't...
Do you deny that you came here yesterday?
No, but yes, it's just that I couldn't...
I'm tired of this. Off we go to the yard. Tomorrow, I'll see that you're put in front of the judge.
What? But you can't! I'm not... It's a terrible mistake!
Enough! You can explain all of that to the judge. You're coming with me to the yard.
But...
In light of recent events, it seems evident that your coming here was unnecessary. All the same, I'm very grateful to you, Mr. Holmes.
You are welcome, Inspector, but please don't be too hard on our young fellow. I would like to question him tomorrow morning.
Oh. Okay, we are at Scotland Yard, headquarters of the Metropolitan Police, London. Oh, look how great that looks.
Good morning, Mr. Holmes. Can I help you?
Good morning, Constable. I would like to speak to the fellow who was arrested at Woodman's Lee last night.
Ah, the young man. He's waiting in the interrogation room. You can go straight through. His belongings are held in the evidence room.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Holmes?
Mr. Holmes. Evidence room.
These are the suspect's belongings.
What's he got?
The notebook that we found on Peter Carey's cabin floor. These abbreviations mean something, but what?
Ooh.
A pocket knife. It was used to force the door of Peter Carey's cabin. And partner, 1883. To my friend, from R. Dawson. Dawson. I've seen this name before. Perhaps my archive holds the answer.
I think we better go out to Baker
A
Street.
handkerchief with the initials JHN.
I think there's enough evidence here. No. Oh, so there's... I could try the morgue first, but... No. We'll go back to Baker Street for now and get that name from the archive. And then we'll interview our suspect. Well, who we think is our suspect. Search for the name Dawson. Hmm. 1883. Aha.
Here it is. Now I begin to understand that young man's story, but I am still unclear as to what connects him with the murder. It is time to ask him.
Aha. That was a good idea after all. To Scotland Yard we go. Inspector Lestrade is not in his room.
Mr. Holmes?
Now let's get some answers out of this man. First we'll do a brief eye to eye of him. Shabby cap. Expensive fabric. Oh, he's got callus. Thin neck. Character portrait complete. Now.
I have heard the story of Dawson and Nelligan, the West Country bankers.
Yes, Joshua Nelligan was my father.
I am aware that it had a bad ending. When the bank failed, it ruined half the families of Cornwall, whereupon Joshua Nelligan disappeared.
My father was under extraordinary pressure. Dawson had retired. I was only 10 years of age at the time, but it was still old enough to feel the shame that befell our family. My father was convinced that he could pay off all his debts if the creditors gave him time. He set sail for Hammerfest in Norway in his small yacht, just a few days before an arrest warrant was issued. He left my mother a list of the securities he was taking. No word was ever heard from him again. We believe that his vessel went down, taking with it everyone and everything on board.
Thank you for the story, Mr. Nelligan. At last, we are making some progress.
Ooh, very interesting.
Does this notebook belong to you?
Yes. But where did you find it? I did not know... I thought I'd lost it at the hotel.
What do these abbreviations mean?
Oh, no. I beg you, I can't. If I told you, it would only make things worse.
But I will find out eventually, Mr. Nelligan.
Of course he will. He's Sherlock Holmes.
The sea knife was found near Carey's body. Tell me, Mr. Nelligan, did Mr. Carey try to defend himself or to attack you with it?
I don't know. I didn't kill anyone.
The police seized this valuable ring from you. Whose is it?
I didn't steal it from anyone. It has always belonged to me.
The ring's date of engraving is many years ago. You would have been a child then, hardly in any position to receive such an item from a partner. So, Mr. Nelligan, who is the true owner of the ring?
The ring is mine.
No, Mr. Nelligan. I believe that the ring had belonged to your father.
Oh, but how do you know?
The jacket you are wearing is made of an expensive fabric that only a man of exceptional wealth could afford. You do not seem to me to be a rich man, Mr. Nelligan. Furthermore, the garment is ill-fitting. It is quite clear that it belonged to someone else, most probably your father. With your father gone and taking with him the family's wealth, as a little boy you had to find yourself a manual job, and it was most probably cleaning fish. You cut your hands often while working. I can tell from the scars.
I'm speechless, Mr. Holmes. It all happened exactly as you say.
Interesting. Joshua Nelligan and Peter Carey were both at sea in Norway. There is definitely some connection between Peter Carey and Joshua Nelligan's disappearance.
Let's put some more evidence together. Okay.
I need to stage a reconstruction. I'm sure that Watson would be happy to oblige.
Who's the victim? Let's go to Baker Street to see if Dr. Watson is there. Dr. Watson.
A spot of whaling, Watson. Would you care to take part?
Are you serious?
No, but we do need to clarify what happened on the night of Black Peter's murder.
A reenactment, then? Is something bothering you?
The sailor's knife, Watson. Why was it on the floor?
Peter Carey attempted to defend himself?
It is possible. But if that is the case, then it alters many things.
I don't quite follow you.
Tell me, my friend, what is the animal closest to man, morphologically, I mean?
Ah, I see what you're getting at, Holmes. You asked me that once before. On the Ripper case, I believe. Do you want to slit some
Ripper.
more pigs' throats?
No.
Thank goodness for that.
I wish to impale one with a harpoon.
Wonderful.
Watson, let us pay a visit to our butcher friend in Whitechapel. We require the carcass of a well-fed pig.
And the harpoon?
One of the harpoons on the wall of Black Peter's cabin should do quite nicely.
Ooh.
I need to take a harpoon with me.
Let's take a harpoon with me. Okay, now.
A map of London and the surrounding area. It could be useful.
Let's just go back to Woodman's Lee. Let's find that harpoon.
That should do it. Now I am ready for the experiment.
Let us be off. Let's just run. No time to lose. That was quick, very quick.
Well, here we are in the preparation room. I can't say that I like the smell of it much.
Ooh,
What do you
dear.
intend to do?
It'll be very smelly.
To indulge myself in a little experiment. The challenge of lancing a pig's carcass with a heavy harpoon.
A little experiment?
Stand aside, Watson. This might be dangerous. I am not well practiced in this exercise. Yet.
Holmes, you should aim for the mark in order to perform the most reliable test.
Okay, let's do this quickly. Alright, okay. Let's do that again.
The harpoon has struck the body, but with insufficient strength to pierce it straight through.
Okay, let's do that again. That was
Holmes, you
rubbish.
should try to aim better. And
Beautiful.
This is the best possible result that I could get. Do you see, Watson? Throwing a harpoon and pinning a man to a wall requires either exceptional strength and training or diabolical luck.
if it was luck, then it was a chance in 1,000 that night.
Well, yes. Let us leave now.
All right. But before we go, I suppose I'll have to pay for all these carcasses you've happily mangled.
Very well, but please hurry.
Of course.
Let Dr. Watson sort out the money. Right, strength requirement. There we go. Let's go to strength. There is a remote, possibly that's an unsk. Let's go back to Scotland Yard and see what our friend in the cells has to say. If he's got anything rude to say.
What am I doing here? I've done nothing wrong.
No.
Locked.
So we can't see Inspector Lestrade. We'll head back to the scene of the crime. Let's see if you've got anything more to say, madam.
Is this your husband's tobacco pouch?
I'm not sure. It might be, but he hadn't smoked in a very long time.
Your husband's private papers. Do you know where they are?
There was a small tin box, barely larger than a book. He kept his papers there. It should be somewhere in his cabin.
Thank you, madam.
Let us run.
1883. This is the crew list of the Sea Unicorn. This is the crew. Log notes for June. Nothing unusual. Log notes for July. Nothing special.
No.
Log notes for August. These pages have been torn away. Canadian Pacific Railway, CPR, a torn piece from a bond certificate. I have seen this abbreviation somewhere very recently. There are 3 ways of discovering what happened in August of 1883 aboard the Sea Unicorn. The first 2 of these will require speaking with a dead man. The last would be to locate vital witnesses, the sailors involved in this whale hunt campaign.
Oh no. Let's head back to Baker Street and see if the archive can help. Sounds a bit crackly.
Something new, Watson. I have the list of sailors who were aboard the Sea Unicorn. We shall soon learn what happened to Nelligan's father. I have only to find them. Let us hope they're still working at the harbor.
I think that if you pretend you're from Scotland Yard...
I doubt it, Watson. And really, I would prefer that all of this remains quiet for now. But I have another solution. I'll call in the specialist.
And who might they be?
The secret police division of Baker Street.
Ah, you mean young Wiggins and his gang?
Yes. Believe me, you'll receive more useful assistance from these little urchins than from a dozen yard detectives. Those children are everywhere. They see and hear everything, and they are cunning. All they lack is organization. I'll summon them.
How will you do that?
There is always a watch beneath our window. I have only to call him. My archive. I can always consult with it, if needed.
Okay, I don't think the archive was be useful after all. Wiggins.
Wiggins, could you come upstairs, please?
At your service, Mr. Holmes.
Wiggins, I need you to track down certain people for me. I'll give you a list. You can read, can't you?
Big Oliver from our gang. He can, because his father is the coachman of a famous lawyer.
Fascinating. Here is the list of sailors.
Brilliant.
Sailors? Easy. Just got to look where the rum and the red lights are.
Sorry to trouble you, Mr. Holmes, but the inspector asks that you come to the station as soon as possible.
Thank you. I'll be there shortly.
Right, well, whilst Wiggins goes off to do his work, I'll go off to do mine. Inspector Lestrade wants to speak with me urgently. Let's get down there, ASAP.
Mr. Holmes, I'm glad to see you.
As always, what happened?
We have a new suspect, Liam Hurtley. I'm thinking that this case will be resolved very quickly now.
Interesting. Pray tell.
Well, the constable that I left at Woodman's Lee noticed a suspicious individual prowling around during the night.
Do you have him here?
Yes. He refuses to speak with us, but we'll make him talk.
Let us hope so.
Ah, yes, and one more thing. The constable told me that at the time of his arrest, the fellow was writing a letter.
Do you have it?
Of course. It's in the evidence room, at your disposal. Admit that for once, Mr. Holmes, Scotland Yard is a step ahead of you, eh?
Breathtaking.
Right.
These are the suspect's belongings.
Okay.
Liam Hurtley's old boots. They're a size 9.5. The stains are fresh. They can be removed with the proper chemicals. A pen. Nothing unusual about it.
Right. But before we interview him, or interrogate, we'll head back to Baker Street. We'll uncover that letter. Excuse me.
I need to prepare a chemical agent that is capable of removing fresh ink. For this purpose, the chemicals from the flasks should be combined in a certain order to perform a chain reaction. First condition, all 7 reagents should be used. Second condition, orange reagent should be the 3rd one in the sequence after the blue reagent. Third condition, colorless reagent should be added after the orange reagent. No, something isn't right. I need to start the reaction from the beginning.
Okay. Let's do that again.
I need to prepare a... No, something isn't right. I need to start the reaction from the beginning.
Right, we will interrogate Mr. Hurtley. But that will be in part 3, so thank you ever so much for watching part 2, guys, and don't forget, if you are new to the channel, leave a like and subscribe, that will help me out very dearly. Feel free to check out my other videos from Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled, FIFA 20, and Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage on the new Spyro Reignited trilogy. So yes, thank you ever so much for watching, and I will be back with part 3 real soon. Thank you very much. Good night.